So, you've seen the new Rocket League stuff added to Fortnite Creative and you've thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I want to make my own Rocket League map. Well, you know that I know that you know I've made a couple videos now over a year ago on how to do this, but they're very outdated and my mic sounds like it's came out of a dishwasher. So, we're bringing out a new one and this time we're actually publishing it, so that'll be fun. Now, let's get started. So we're going to go to devices and grab the barrier device. Why would you want to do that though? Well, the barrier device has a very unique little barrier style. Gloss black, and we can go ahead and change the width and depth so it's like the whole island. Now it's not the whole island yet because this here is a little tiny barrier, so you can just stretch it out and then that will make it literally the full size of the island. And then of course make it so it is enabled during all phases, because then that means you can also stand on it during this sort of phase. Now let's go ahead and actually start making a little goal. So I'm going to go ahead down to shapes here and we're going to go into the primitive shapes gallery and we're going to grab probably one of these here bars. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one right here. You can, change the shape and all of that fun stuff yourselves to whatever you'd like the goal to be. However, this is what mine's going to look like. In fact, just to make it a bit more noticeable for you, I'm going to use these new pieces at the very bottom, and because they're like sort of big old rotated things. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to make the depth of them, not the depth, the height is thick as possible to make them have a bit of depth. And then we'll do the same with this other one that I find. Okay, change the grid connection of that, and then we can go into these and change the color of them. So this one can be red orange with the orange thing. I'm going to shrink that down then by 5, just like so. Okay, so now we've kind of got the shape of the net, and we're going to bring this all the way down like that. And we can even spawn the car, I think now. Yeah, and we can drive perfectly on top of that. And since this is a thermal island, as you can see, it covers the full thing. It's a huge playing area. Like, you'll be able to make one massive area net thing. Don't worry, you won't be able to see through the ground when you're playing the actual thing. Okay, so that's going to do for my net at the moment. And compared to the car size, that is a pretty good. That's a good net size right there. And we're going to go ahead and jump out and we're going to grab the walls here. And we're going to pull them across to about there. Yeah, and we'll bring that about here. And we'll bring this one to about here. Then we're going to grab our ramps. And if we place this here, and we sort of make sure that that works all right with the car, we can copy it over, jump into the car here. Now with the car at the minute, it will destroy terrain. We'll fix that, and as you can see, we can't actually get up that. Change that. We're just going to kind of up a bit more like that, and that should be a bit better now. Yeah, there we go. All right, we could of course as well use this one and make it a bit better looking. You could have that ramp there and then rotate this one around to there like that, and that there will be a much better sort of ramp for the car. Probably not even that much, probably about that much there, and then we can pull that in a wee bit more like so. We'll go ahead, drive the car back around, and there we go. It still works perfectly good stuff. Okay, let's grab this here. This is sort of like our prefab for the ramps, and we're going to get rid of that one and then place these in here. And you'll see that 2 of them can sort of do the right measurements that we want, which is very good. Just a wee bit finicky when you can't see the floor especially. You can go ahead and copy this and just paste that and turn it right around town. Paste that there so you sort of go up and around when you're in the car. Once we've got that, we're going to go ahead and grab the glossy floor and just place that across the roof there. Make sure that it is aligned correctly with that ramp, because at the minute it ain't really aligned correct, and it's also sort of sticking through there. But I like that. I like that it's got a wee bit of a black line there, and I think that'll do for me. Again, just sort of curve that out a bit, but I like it. So we've got the net, and it is looking ugly. So we're just going to grab the wall from behind here and rotate that like so. I'm going to paste that there and just go along here. So then it clicked into me. A piece I should have been using from the very start. So there is this curved piece here, and yet it's curved, believe it or not. Unfortunately, it is very thinly curved, but it might work a lot better than what we actually have. So again, unfortunately, this is literally one piece. We're going to have to copy and paste this beside each other a lot, but it's going to give us, hopefully, a much better result than our custom ones. And it looks quite good. Hey, that was so much better than this here thingy. You did see there, it does damage it a bit again, but we'll just turn damage off. So now we've got sort of like our new ramp here, and we could go ahead and put this in the net. I am going to leave that for now, and in fact, we need to lift this up a wee bit more so we get that even smoother ramp. Let's get rid of this old ramp here, and let's start placing this new one. Okay, this is some delicate work here. Make sure you have your flight speed down pretty low so you can get that perfect accuracy. Okay, alright, that seems pretty good. There's a wee bit sticking out there, but overall, that's not half bad. Let's go ahead, put our grid up, and now we can snip this together a lot easier. Ow, why does this like bug out? Come on now, we do not like that. Okay, so to fix that bugging out, we are going to have to try and do that. Still a bit of bugging. The easiest way to fix this is to sort of get it in between and walk forwards ever so slightly. And there you go. There's barely any difference in it, but it does not have that lagginess. So now with this whole bit we copied, we can go ahead and delete that and copy this new one where the end piece will not do the lagging. Let's go ahead and get our flight speed up so we can move a bit quicker, and we'll get our grid snap up. Even change it to 1, and that still works very, very well. So that looks like a pretty good length right there. Is it a good length though? Because we sort of figured out that lengths in this car can be very different. Yeah, that's pretty good. And let's go ahead and also give it a try here. Oh, that is perfect. Why there was Batman music playing at the same time, I don't know. Just try not to do any ramp testing or anything until you get it sort of finished, because you might break some of them and it doesn't look very neat. So I'm going to go ahead and get this whole wall thing built around it. This here wall at the minute has, wow, that's a little bit, 91 of those corner pieces on one side. Wow. Okay, but let's go ahead and do the exact same thing on this side, where we'll get that grid snap of 32 and we'll bring it in right in close to the wall. Get that there flight speed down, boy, and bam, place that down. Then that'll do it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, was it 4 I done? It was 4 that I done. So then let's rotate that, get this across, get those measurements correct, and I'm going to copy it all again very carefully now. Okay, and then going to pick it up from the left side and drag it all the way to here. Place that down. Now it's basically the exact same measurements the whole way around, and when we jump in the car here, it should feel like a pretty good size. I mean, look at the size of that. Yeah, that's a good size. Yeah, I like that. Much better. Much better. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is just copy this whole sort of net across to the other side, and hopefully it doesn't take over 100 pieces. Nah, it's not going to take over 100. Wow, only 67 pieces. Nice. Okay, and then if you look closely here, that's just a wee bit cut off there. Rotate it the whole way around, and we're going to go ahead and drag it right on here. Now you can see that this does not snip on the exact same as the other side. You're going to have to mess around then sort of with the grid snap here. I'm probably going to have to put it on to 32, and I'm going to have to also get my flight speed, probably the 0.1. Then we're going to put this all the way back to about there. We'll do there, and we'll bring it down until that bottom piece is in the zone, and we'll bring it down one more so it's sort of similar on the other side. Bam, place that down. Now we've got 2 red nets. To fix that, we're just going to go into each of these and change them to sky blue, and then that'll be like, oh yes, this is the blue net, so orange team, get your balls in the blue net. Okay, and there we go. Now we've got a blue net. Why does that looks like white or a light gray? But you know, Bob Ross. So next we're going to grab another barrier. Not as big this time, but there is an edit style which we did use in one of our previous videos, but we're going to use it again here. Exact same settings, make sure it's on all. but go across here till you get to red force field, and then that sort of gives us this orange phase looking thing. And we're going to go ahead and make the depth 0.05, so it's super thin. Then going to drag that across just like that, sort of put it down a wee bit so it bends into the curve there. And then we're going to get a height, let's say a height of 30, and we'll give it a width of 19. That should then, oh, it didn't fit it. Okay, let's try 14. 14 is pretty good. Okay, well, 12 too much. 12's perfect. Okay, so we can then sort of just copy and paste this across to the other side. It will fit, and then we'll drag it down. Perfect. Sort of shows that we've moved this one in a wee bit, but when you're driving fast in those cars, you're not really gonna notice it. Now, we don't want players to be able to get out of their vehicles, because at Rocket League is all about in these cars, but what about when you're flipped upside down? Because usually, you know, Fortnite cars, they don't allow you to be upside down, they'd kick you out of the car. But if you've noticed, it has not kicked me out of the car yet. That's because we can just click spacebar and it actually puts us back up, which is brilliant. So that means we can go in the settings and force players to be in the cars. Alrighty, let's go ahead and place another barrier right there. Make sure it's once again aligned with the rest. Let's place a barrier down. We're going to change that zone width probably about to 18. Would that be about right? No, a bit more. About 24 maybe. Okay, I can't do 24. Okay, let's do 20 for now. But we can, if we really wanted to, use the same method we used with that by changing the shape. And then we're going to go ahead, copy this, and drag it all the way to the other side. Then once we get it here, we're going to go ahead and rotate it like so, and change the width just so it fits better. Yay. It's a bit big, isn't it? Oh no, it's actually not a bit big. It's too small still, really? Okay, then we'll just change the width of it. Bam. Aha. Take that, Fortnite logic. Okay, it's not right up against it. We'll place it there. Now you're going to go ahead and just highlight them all. For me on the PC, it's R. Not sure what it is on console, but they'll turn sort of like this green outline around them when you've got the right setting. Once you've got them all selected, you're going to go ahead, pick them up, rotate them, not that way, rotate them 8 times on the yawn. You're going to bring them over here, and if measurements are correct, we are going to place them perfectly on top of the thing, like a saw. And that's pretty much perfect, yeah. Pretty much perfect. Wow, we're that much off. But that's a lot off. Okay. But before we go ahead and fix that, we can now go into each of these barriers and change them to a nice blue force field. And then just change the width of these. So I'm probably going to change maybe like 30. Change the other side to 30 as well. And then I can copy and paste them over. I'll get to use when I have fully finished this. Oh yeah, that fit a lot better. Okay, and I think if I change this one to 30 as well, that'll look so much better. Yeah, I mean that basically lines up almost perfectly now. Okay, if we move them just slightly forwards, not that, just slightly forwards, there's still a bit of a gap there. I mean, I'm not too worried about this gap because it's just a wee old gap. Next part is we gotta place down all these fun little booster pads here. You can do custom ones if you want. I'm just going to use the ones from the game because the ones from the game. Why do they go invisible? Why? That's not... Okay. Okay, so I've got 3 here on this side, like the game. We're just going to copy those and drag them across onto the other side. And to think, my original way was to do it with boost pads. That is hilarious. Now we've got the actual thing in the game. Crazy. So we've got them now placed out sort of right-ish. Yep. And now we just need to get the wee small ones. But before we do that, let's go ahead and grab the cards. Let's put the cars into the game now. Okay, so let's go over the mechanics for the map, because this is the second day I'm doing this and I realized, yeah, the mechanics that I had done aren't the greatest. They probably are not going to work if it's more than one person. Why? Well, because of these, the player reference devices only show the score of one player, so we can't make it show the score of a full team, which stinks. Instead, we're going to have to do it the original way. where it was just a score manager, and we're going to place the score manager down here, and it's pretty small, so we can go ahead and enlarge it all the way, and we're going to put it right there, so it shows a big old 0. Okay, so there we go. I've now figured out how to do the score. So when I score in the blue one, it then adds a score to the red, and if we add another one into the blue here, it'll go up to 2 on the red score. So the blue one didn't go up, but as we can see in the distance here, it did go up there. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at these mechanics. Now, the blue scoreboard here on this side, we're going to go in here, and this is all of the changes that I made to the device. Score change when activated 1, visible in game, only number, that's so you don't see that big old pad, play audio, no, and activate when receiving from channel 5. Then if we go way on the other side, it is the exact same, except the score award type is set to subtract, so we get the red color. If you would rather have a green number, change it to set, and the number will be green, subtract is red, and add is blue. Then change activate when receiving from to 4. Now, let's get to the score system. This here is the capture area devices. So if you go in here and do capture area, I'll just get all the devices out now. Capture area, player counter, score manager, ball spawner, and of course we'll have the car spawners as well. And then lastly, we will need a damage spawner. I think that's it. That's it for now anyway. Player spawn pads as well, but we'll get onto those later. So we're at the red net right now, and we'll go into here, and there's all the settings. I've changed the color to red orange, so it's the same colors. Orange. Capture radius is 5, so it sort of covers that entire net. However, you could probably place multiple of these to make it a bit more linear rather than smooth. Capture height is 2, so it reaches the very top. And when item is consumed, this one is important. Make sure you choose the correct one, because if you don't, there's a lot of different settings you can change, and it's very overwhelming in this device. I mean, look at all of these. Look at all the stuff you can change in this one device. But these are the only ones you need to change, so it's not too overwhelming. Let's go ahead way over to the other side here. This is now the blue net, and when we go in it, it's the exact same settings, except the color is aqua, and when item is consumed, transmit on channel 4. The damage traps are put here across the net, so players can't drive in and give themselves score. And same on the other side, there's also a damage net here. There's probably a way you can get rid of this, but we're trying to keep this a bit more simple. Maybe bring out another advanced one later on. I've then also placed all the boost pads down here. These are sort of like where all the large boost pads would be on the actual Rocket League game. So they're all placed around here on the sides and the corners. Then you could also place the small ones if you really wanted. Now let's get on to the cars. So this is team 1. So your first car is going to be assigned driver when receiving from channel 2. When player exits vehicle, transmit on channel 2. Boost type is standard, and then you can sort of change these settings like damage other vehicles and stuff. You know, sort of like when you get that really strong boost, it would blow up the cars and all that. So that's all the settings I've changed in that one. The second one here, exact same, except it's assigned driver when receiving from channel 6, and when player exits, transmit on channel 6. Now over here is the player spawn pads. So we search player up, we'll see player spawn pad right there. So number 1 here, you'll see it's set to team 1 only, and when player spawned, transmit on channel 2. So when you spawn on this, after a while when that vehicle spawns in, you will then be put into the vehicle. Then the other blue one here, except it's on when player spawn, transmit on channel 6. Now we go over to the red area, and again, exact same settings except assign driver, and when player exits vehicle, transmit on channel 1, and this one is channel 7. And if we go back on round to the player spawners, this one transmits on channel 1, but it's set to team 2, and this one is set on channel 7 and also set to team 2. Now one thing I completely overlooked is that there are indeed different colors to vehicles. It just depends on your team. So if you want to change the color of these, let's go ahead and search up in here team. We can get these team spawners here and we can place them down. So we can go into these and change them to team, let's say team 1, and I wanted the cars to be green. Change that to green. Team 2, let's make it purple, why not? So if we go on up, these cars are still like the same color, but when we start the game, you'll see that the car has now changed color. That is awesome. I love that feature. I hope they do add a feature in it though, where you can just choose the color instead of having different teams to change the color. It's a bit awkward. So yeah, that's how you change the color of the cars. If nobody's in them, they will be blue, and there's no way sort of around that. Okay, now for the ball spawner. This one's quite easy. And really, it's up to your own selves how you want the ball to react, because the ball spawner is an awful device, but it's the closest we'll get to an actual ball spawner. We have the boulders, but they are too heavy for the cars. So these are the settings I've changed. The car size, not car size, the ball size is large. The type is sports. Respawn delay is 5 seconds, and the ball material is grayscale. And then that gives it that look. Now, when testing this, I did realize the size of the net compared to the ball is very small, so you might want to make that net just a wee bit bigger by maybe like a 2 grid, but that's up to your own selves. So that's everything, I think. I've showed you the capture area, I've showed you how to get the score up. Now down here we have got these, because originally I thought you couldn't see the car colors, but you can, so these aren't important anymore. Neither are these like awesome looking things I made. I think those look really cool, but unfortunately you can't have contrails going through the car. Let's make it 4, so 2 people on each team. Teams, 2 teams. Team sizes, 2. Total rounds, 3. Time limit, 5 minutes. Now you want to go to My Island settings here, and what you're going to want to change here is environment damage to off, structure damage, none. Put these down to none if you want as well, to be in that extra safe side. But anyway, this map at the minute will support 4 players, 2 on each team. I'm going to give you a code now for it, just so you can sort of see it work and be like, oh okay, if I follow this tutorial, this is what my game will look like. So let's go ahead and publish that. So there's the code, everybody, right there on the screen. And I hope this tutorial helped you. If it did, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow, and we do a video every single day. Yeah, you heard that right. Every single day we do a video on Fortnite Creative, or else, you know, might be one time in the week we change it to maybe a different game like Terraria stuff. And we do challenges and all with you guys as well, so make sure to join the Discord in the description. But I will see you all in the next one, everybody. And goodbye, and have a pleasant rest of the day. Whee!